Boy howdy all you freaking legends. Don't mind this mess in the background if you can see it, but if you can't see it, you're probably on Spotify. And for that reason being, this podcast is now on Spotify. Chatting Up a Storm is now officially on Spotify, and I've officially named the podcast Chatting Up a Storm. Hey, why not? It's a freaking cool name, okay? But yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, appreciate you dearly. Thanks so much for supporting this podcast on other platforms that aren't YouTube. But also, if you're on YouTube, here's a cool little funky dance that the Spotify listeners can't see. Ha! But yeah, before we get into it, this is a fun, cool chat with Rob from Mattel. Roberto, Uncle Bob from Mattel. We talk all about the future of crowdfunding, now with the new gen arena fully being backed with all of the unlockable tiers unlocked. We talk about the future possibilities of other arenas, entrance stages, and all that fun stuff, along with other cool things, little insights in Mattel, and hopefully making you laugh along the way with a little bit of banter here and there. So, without further ado, here is my talk with Rob from Mattel. Hey guys, it's me, Mike Belcaster from Turnbuckles Having. What? Just kidding. G'day, ladies and gents. It is I, Nick Storm, the Australian icon, and I am here with my very special guest from Mattel, Robert Rudman. Oh my god, glorious Bobby Rudman, if you will. Did I say your name right?
It's Rudman. That's why
Rudman.
I changed it,
Okay.
because I think that like Ravishing Robert,
Yeah,
right? Which the boys name me as.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it like flips everyone because of course it's Ravishing Rick Rude and like Robert Rudman, and so people automatically assume Rudman.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. Mind. People can call people have called me a lot worse.
Yeah. I'll just call you Rudy because we're mates now.
There you go. That's right. That's right.
So here I have I just stole this completely from your Instagram bio, but we have writer. Is this true?
Writer, yeah.
Figure collector. Is this true?
It's right behind me.
Wrestling fan, movie buff, baseball nerd, child of the 80s, adolescent of the 90s, father of the 2000s, Robert of the future, robot of the future. You're Robert
That's
of
right.
the future as well. And now the most important role, podcast guest on Chatting Up a Storm with yours truly, Nick Storm. So
not only that, but
yeah.
the first post August 13th, 2021
Exactly.
podcast guest.
Exactly. So you saying that the new gen arena got fully backed. Oh my god, this must be like a huge weight lifted off of your shoulders.
As soon as it funded, bro. It was a lot. It was a heavy lift. I mean, like from the beginning, so the item itself is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as it got released, it was like obvious that there were problems. People said, the ring was too much. People were questioning whether or not Diesel was the right choice to kind of lead it off with, whether the Arrow was the right choice. So like we were like hearing like all sorts of stuff. And then we sprinkled a little macho dust on it. And man, what a day. What a day.
Yeah, I can only imagine you guys, everyone at Mattel, finally when it got back, huge like relief, and especially for it to get back, not only to get like 5,000 backers or 8,000, nearly 9,000, I think, whatever it's at now. You get the whole ring skirts, you get the doink and everything. Did you expect something like this?
No. Well, so once we, well, first of all, before we kind of dive into it,
yeah,
I just want to say on behalf of myself, Steve, the entire Mattel WWE team, thank you. Thank you to everyone out there, everyone who backed it. I want to thank people like yourself, Nick, and like all the other podcast hosts, all the YouTubers, everyone who is helping get the word out on social media, both the good and the bad. I mean, there was like so much to take from it and so many valuable learnings. And it was truly like, we had to definitely like lead the charge as far as like a grassroots effort, but the community came together, and it really was like this viral grassroots movement where it was like the entire community came together and just like was just like heave, heave.
Yeah, it was a big heave ho from the community, man. That was that was great to see. It brought all of us together, I feel, as well.
100%. But to answer your question, so there was like, things were moving along slow with initial diesel. People were concerned with like, we should fund this, but I'm concerned that it might not get funded. People were like, I'm not sure if I'm going to back it because it's not for me. There was like a lot of concern out there. Once we got the Macho Madness announcers pack, and we recognized that early on. We were like, there's a problem with this launch. It's not as strong as we started. We need to figure this out. So we regrouped, brought out the Macho Man announcers pack, and pushed it as this exclusive. People questioned that decision, whether or not we should have had it on until the end, but it's an early bird exclusive for the people who really, really wanted it. And the thing is still kind of slowly funding. We've still got another week, thanks to the entire community. The entire package is unbooked. Once we started seeing numbers climb, I was like, okay, this thing has got a shot at funding. I wasn't saying that, the unlockables weren't going to happen. I was just like focused on Wall Street ahead. We started to see the numbers climb up. I was like, if we can get this to 50% before Friday, we've got a fighting chance. Mm-hmm. And then 50% happened on Wednesday. And by the end of Thursday, we were at 74%. I was like, this thing's going to fund. And we have a chance of unlocking Doink. That was where I stood on Thursday night. When I turned off my phone, 74%. And I was up late in anticipation. So it was actually, by the time that I went to bed, it was 75%. And so I was like, oh man, I can't. And because my initial thing was, I was like, if we can end the day Friday at 80% with 4,000 or more backers, I think that by the end of the campaign that we're going to have enough with that last push to unlock this. And then I woke up on Friday and we're already past 80%.
Jeez, yeah.
And I was like, buckle up, it's gonna be a huge day. And I was like, we're definitely going to get the arena. We're going to get Doink. I was like, whether today or tomorrow, we're going to get Doink. I was not even thinking about the ring skirts. I was like, oh, we might not get the ring skirts, but everyone wants Doink. But then I started thinking, once we got Doink so quickly, that I was like, now that Doink's unlocked, there were a lot of people out there who were like, I'm only in it for Doink, but that's not going to get unlocked, LOL.
Yeah.
And then we unlocked it, and then it rolled into the ring skirts, and how that happened was amazing. I don't know if anyone was paying attention, but it was like at 7,995 with like a minute and a half to go, and I'm like, refresh. I see the clock turn to 8:59 our time, which would have been the time Pacific time, which is when it would roll up. And I was like, it's like, I wonder what's going to happen. Refresh, and it hit 8,011, and I look at my clock, and it was, and it had just turned 9. And I was like, it was a buzzer beater to unlock the entire thing. It was one of those like, do you believe in miracle moments? But it wasn't a miracle. It was like it was, Steve and I got out there and pounded the pavement as hard as we could. We had the support of the community. People wanted it to happen. People understood what this could open doors for, and it's going to open doors to some cool stuff. Like, we're already talking about what we want to do next time around. So because of this, like, this is a first for Mattel, a first for the WWE brand. Collectors are always saying, enough of the kids stuff. Can we please get some collector stuff? That new generation entrance arena that Steve showed on his Instagram account. If anyone follows him, Action Figure Attack, you can go in there. It's on his account. just to take a look at how the model, not the final, but the model of that entrance stage look. It's glorious.
It's so cool. It's
Did you
huge
see
too.
it?
It's massive. Yeah.
It's big.
It's big, man.
It's big. It's chunky. I can't wait to see like how big it is, like as far as like a display piece.
Yeah.
I think that Steve also put a picture up on his Twitter of showing it on what it would look like on a shelf.
Yeah.
And now that they have that, I think we like it's our responsibility. The community gave us the boost, and I see it as our responsibility to learn from what we could have done better. And like the feedback was incredible. It's like kind of opened the doors. We really heard what people were asking for, what people want, and it honestly it like kind of like helps us filter through for what we want to do next time, which we can do.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, you've probably gotten like an abundance of suggestions that people would have rather over this arena, but still I think this arena is a must get, especially because you said there's like another week left for this arena to be backed, right? And it's all fully backed, but you know what's something that hasn't got a week left? The Macho Man. Macho Madness announces pack. That's pretty much like maybe like a 1 of 6,000 thing now. It's
I don't have the numbers.
Neither, yeah.
It seems to be like I said, when I hit refresh, it was 8,011 and I posted like 1 of 8,011. That number may not be accurate. I don't have like the actual final data. But it's around that.
Yeah,
it's
that's
around
insane still.
It is. For anyone who does, like, I know that when we say these numbers, people don't really have a context for what that means. So let me put it into perspective. That is San Diego Comic-Con exclusive type numbers, except that it's a Mattel creation. It's an early bird exclusive within the Mattel Creations exclusive, which means it's an exclusive of an exclusive.
Yeah.
That's an extremely low run, definitely our lowest run Ultimate Edition
Wow.
figure to get. So like, I know you got one. Congratulations to everyone who got one. I can't wait to see what Bill does with it. Bill's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah,
like a lot of work.
Yeah,
as soon as the ring skirts unlock, he's like, oh, I gotta do the ring skirts now.
Yeah, man, that guy's he's a monster. But
he is super talented dude. Designed
yes.
a beautiful set. I can't wait for people to get this in their hands and share their feelings on it, share their pictures.
Likewise, yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't wait either as well. Especially like how exclusive it's gonna be for a lot of people, and just in general, it's an investment as well. A lot of people like if they bought like 5, they can just put their kids in college if they want to, honestly. But you know what I mean? It's such a rarity, and everyone has it in their like power to get one. If you can't, use the Klarna app as well. I think it's like 4 payments over like a month or 2, and yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I've heard people. I saw the community kind of like going for that. I can't personally endorse it. We're not officially attached to it, but people seem to find that it worked. So because they discovered that, it seemed to open up a lot more of a comfort for people, which is great. You know, that was something that, you know, Mattel's not attached to, but word got around and people made their own judgment calls and made their own decisions, and it seemed to work.
Yeah.
So good job, guys.
Yeah.
Like you
Cardona getting 5 or whatever. Yeah.
That was clutch. That was absolutely clutch. And you know, I mean, as as far as the investment, again, I can't like as we're in this. Everyone should buy one to share it with themselves and their kids and put it on display.
Yeah, I agree. Cardona's going to do that 5 times over.
Everyone's going to do that 5 times over.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're all collectors. We all like know the risk and potential reward
the whole
for
game.
Something like this. Yeah, I think if you take a look at the way that other crowd funds have done. Kind of like there's like that's not an I will say that is not an unreasonable expectation for people to have based on everything that's happened past, based off of the exclusivity of that Macho Man, based off of how awesome that Macho Man is going to look. Like, I mean, it's like in a normal, even Ultimate Edition line, we wouldn't have been able to afford that, but this way we were, and I just can't wait to see the final product. Like,
yeah. Oh my god, me too, man. I want to know why you did choose these Ultimates, these figures. Why Donkey Clown, why Diesel, and why Macho Man for this new gen arena?
that was like I think that was a conversation with Steve and Bill, like trying to hash it out. There's like so many pieces running around with like, you've got all these lineups of who's going to go in here, who's going to go in where. So ultimately, and trying to figure out between the marketing strategy and the design strategy, that was where we landed. Diesel was met with like kind of like, a lukewarm reaction. I think that people are going to love it when they finally get it. Doink the Clown was, oh yeah, no, I mean, I like Diesel. I like
Big
Nash.
Daddy Cool.
Yeah, man, this board has ring, or this ring has boards.
This board has a ring. Rob 2021.
Dude, that tweet was fantastic. But it was also, again, really cool. People were like hitting up Nash so hard, and just on his own, not through us, not through WWE. He was like, people have been asking me to help support this collectible. It has boards. WWE owns the trademark to Diesel. I don't
Kevin Nash tweeting about it.
Dude, brilliant. I love him for it. Doink was the one that everyone was like, make that 5,000. That should have been the lead off. Which I get from our community. The true thing is that you have to lead off with someone who's more main event level. I understand that people are going to be like, main event level. Dude. Diesel was champion at the time. There was a rationale behind it. Just because the way that it was met doesn't mean that there wasn't like a rationale behind it. We can discuss whether or not, the nitpicks and the comparisons. We've learned from it and learned that it's like, we definitely want to lead off with stronger talent. Macho was a game changer, and there's a reason for that. Doink, I was gushing when I was like as we were creeping closer. I was texting everyone. I'm like, guys, oh my god, there's gonna be an Ultimate Edition. Like,
how cool is that?
It's unbelievable. Like, I never would have thought we would have been able to get it. And this also opens up an opportunity to get some of those to get some of those characters that we would never see in the way in Ultimate Editions. Not the way that it's currently structured. It's been all top guys so far. Top guys and Doink. I love it.
The toppest guy.
I love it. Yeah. The toppest clown.
Yeah. But we only have like a couple Doink elites anyway in the history of Mattel. Right? Yeah, we only have 2 Doink elites.
2.
And so there hasn't really been that many Doinks made. If you look at the time span of Mattel and how many figures are made, and this Ultimate Edition as well is just going to set everything off. So glad people are getting into it now, especially because I agree with like the main event kind of thing. You have to keep them wanting more, It's just that's for business as well, and that's just like a smart plan to do. I want to know as well, for people like who don't know exactly what you do, what is your full title at Mattel?
Lead copywriter for WWE and Masters of the Universe.
Cool. Yeah, there we go.
So my job is not even to go out there in sales, but I put my writing to use by being as loud and obnoxious on social media as I possibly could.
If it works, it works.
I just needed to keep the noise going, because of the initial response. This thing needed like a lot of lifting, and Steve and I just like buckled up and like really were like trying to address the concerns while pushing the excitement and reinforcing to people this thing is going to fund. like buy in, invest. Don't approach it like we might not like. No, this thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
And and it did completely in one day. Mark it on the calendars, August 15th, 2011. Yeah. let's get some merch going.
That's it. Yeah, how long were you all in talks about this ring for? Because I think I heard something about MBG, Matt Goldberg. He took a trip to Mattel a couple of years ago and brought up the idea of crowdfunding. I heard that on the Turnbuckle Tavern. Don't know how true that is. He owes me $20. Just kidding. But yeah, I want to know how far into this you guys have thought out, and when this whole initial thing kind of started rolling.
I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. Like, Matt Goldberg's a great photographer. And I don't mean to kind of like, slander on it. I didn't have that conversation. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but it was. I think that as opposed to anything, it just showed the reflection, because Matt is definitely like a lead guy in the figure community. He hosts his own website. He does his figure photography. He's very visible. He's an influencer, right? So it just kind of shows that it's like the being in sync with that collector community and us. Like we were like they were like, you guys should do this, and we're like, yeah, and like we can't talk to them about it because it's stuff that we're like, it's stuff that we're talking about internally. There's no plans for it, etc.
Yeah.
But we're definitely thinking about it, and eventually they set up the Mattel Creations division, and there was a push of like, let's talk DTC, let's talk how we can do crowdfunding. And WWE was put up to the altar and said, you will be the lamb that we will see if this works for the entire Mattel company. To open those doors for the brand and for the company. It's truly an amazing accomplishment. And I'm glad that it is. It opens up all sorts of doors for us and for other brands as well. It works. It really worked. What we did worked. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Took an item that had obstacles coming out of it, figured out a way on the fly, a couple of ways on the fly to pivot and make adjustments to really address that. And I think that people really appreciated that. People were really appreciated that we were like, let's take away being funded up front and do it till after the campaign backs. And people are like, this needs another figure. So how can we figure out to get another figure? This thing needs more to the arena. Can we include more with the arena? Hence the like announcers tables. I lost my train of thought. I'm fried like I'm fried like chicken, brother.
But no, in that like hot loft, I understand. I don't know if I was recording then, but Rob said he's in like his figure collection's in a loft right now, and because it is summer over there, he's freaking melting. He's like the witch from Wizard of Oz. He's melting.
The figures are melting. Like,
the figures are melting.
It's all over the place. I'm like, I gotta reset up again.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all part of the thing. It helps me reorganize my stuff when I need to. Nature tells me when it's time to reorganize my figure collection.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, who better,
That's right. Who better than Mother Nature?
Yeah. I do want to know as well. Getting kind of off the topic about the New Gen Arena. If you haven't backed it yet, please go back it because it's beautiful. You have a chance to get a really exclusive rare item. But I also
on top of which it's packed full now. So you get everything. Like if you might not get the Macho, but you get the Doink and Diesel, and those guys are also going to be super, super rare, low run. And quite honestly, and I don't mind saying this, it's kind of like owning a piece of action figure history.
I've been saying that to a lot of people. This is history and like wrestling figures, action figure, Mattel history, everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. And And if for nothing else, it's like a really cool talking point. I think that some people probably did. Some people were like, all right, I guess I got to get this because everyone's getting it. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of snowballs like that. Hey,
It did, and
yeah,
and that's really what kind of like gave us like faith of like this thing is starting to pick up steam. And it was, and a lot of people were like, I I saw I saw somebody post, it might have been Toy Posse, shared a post of someone who is like, I spoke with the collector and they're going to get 100 arenas for out, for one reason, macho FOMO.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, this thing's going to be big. This
Mhm.
is going to be huge. I have no idea if that guy did that. I have no idea who that guy it is, but excuse me, just the fact that that was like someone said that and people were thinking that, and it was an indicator of things to come.
Yeah, Macho FOMO is really what like kind of tied me into getting it as well, especially because I'm a big Macho Man guy as well. I got the recently got the Ultimate Edition Macho Man from I think line from
So
Series
good,
8.
right?
It's one of my favorites. It's like I didn't really think it would be that good until I got it in the hand. It's like the cloth, the hat, and it's gonna be even better when we get that new gen arena Macho Madness Macho Man with the oh my god with all the cloth. I oh my god.
That's what I'm telling people about Diesel. Like I was
Yeah.
like, name me like there you can scale Ultimate Edition figures, but name one bad Ultimate Edition figure in hand. The most amazing action figures ever. The playability, the posability, they're amazing. Brock Lesnar, like that Ultimate Edition figure, looks so
That's the
simple
best Brock
because
Lesnar figure to
so
get,
good.
honestly. Yeah.
So good, and one of the best Ultimate Edition figures. Like, I mean, if someone were to say to me that's like, yeah, that Brock is the best Ultimate Edition figure, I would be like, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, what would your favorite be if you had to pick?
Woo. um Flair,
Flair. Yeah.
dude, that
Wait,
I mean, just for here, I'll bring him. I'll bring him
yeah.
out. I mean, there are great ones. The Warrior's great. The NWO Hogan is great,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the Four
Woo!
Horsemen fingers,
Yeah.
woo,
Living and
me,
riding,
woo,
kissing
I
the
got
girls and making them cry. You
That's
know?
right. With a tear in my eye. The Woo face. This
Yeah.
is, I think, the greatest robe that we've ever done, and
Man, it's so good.
it's also the Rick. I mean, after like the recent news with Flair leaving the company, I think that this is the last Ric Flair
Yeah.
that that we had out there. There might have been one in a 2-pack, a basic 2-pack or something like that. But as far as like for collectors,
Yeah.
um,
What a good one
this
to end, like kind of end
this
off, you know.
right?
That's
Right?
really good.
But there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
A lot of people love the NWO Hollywood. This is the first time we got Hollywood.
Man,
The
a lot of people have been
the
waiting like so long for that as well, especially before Hulk Hogan got released back in 2015 or something like that. I think it was in the works, and we
it
finally
was
got it. And I picked it up straight away. It was awesome.
nice. The Rock, that first Rock is an
Oh yeah,
incredible one with a lot of face, which
yeah,
I've seen people use in like when Rock is in submission holds.
yeah.
It's such a great face. Use it for so many
It's so
different
good.
reasons.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? I got to know yours since I don't mean to
Oh
flip interviewee interviewer, but I got to know your
no,
favorite
I
Ultimate
like this.
Edition.
Yeah, this is like a chat now. I like it. Favorite Ultimate Edition I own. Brock Lesnar is definitely up there. I think that was the first Ultimate Edition I owned, and I was like, okay, I can get behind this because
That's
I was kind of, I think we were all a bit skeptical on Ultimate Editions at the start, but once you get them in hand, it's like, it's like that's the only figure to collect. You know what I mean?
and well, that's what I say. I'm like, if my
Yeah,
wife was like, your collection is too much, you have to get rid of everything. I'm like, can I at least keep one thing? And she'd be like, fine, you can keep one thing. It would be Ultimate Edition figures.
yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
hands down. And it's not just because I work on them. It's to me, just dollar for dollar, they're the best action figure out
Yeah,
there. Like 100%. When people get that Diesel in their hand, I feel like we almost forget like what you just said, which was like, I see it. Are these going to be good? But every single time Like that's the conversation every single time. And then you get it in hand and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to
For
get
me,
that
I see
ultimate
like,
team.
yeah, for me, I see everyone getting it, and I'm like, I have to get it, and then I get it, and I'm like, I'm so glad I got it.
Yep.
But one of my favorites, I recently got the Fiend. I got the Fiend just the other day, Ultimate Edition. It's so good. I also have the Flare on the way. I think that might be one of my favorites if I get it, and also got Stone Cold on the way. And another one that I'm very excited for, we can talk a little bit about this as well, is the Amazon exclusive Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which there are going to be more Jeffs and Hulks coming out there, because I know that that's a question a lot of people have. Actually, here, if you want like a sneak peek, let me give you a sneak peek. I love it. The best Jeff Hardy ever, because like you can do like, because of the butterfly joints, you can really kind of like get the like he like used to tuck his arms under and do that.
Yeah.
And the elites only have got like that little bit of bend, but with the butterfly joints, you get like a much better pose with the gun face. And the deco on the face and
it's insane. That's
on the
head scan's
hair.
great. Oh my God.
And the wash and deco on the hair, like it's really a beautiful it's a beautiful figure. You're not going to be disappointed. Congratulations on getting it. Those things have been like popping up and going away. I know it's been frustrating for people.
Yeah.
But don't worry, there will be more out there. There's going to be more coming, and once we are able to announce it, we definitely will.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. I think I was watching a show or something, because I am in Australia. I'm asleep like when they normally do go live, so I kind of missed that, like hit myself in the morning, I didn't get it. But I was just watching a show and someone DM'd me, Jeff is up, and I was like, oh my God, because this was like a few weeks of me trying to get it and then failing, and I instantly got two. And I think it's probably going to be, I'm going to keep one mock, have one loosey goosey so I can pose it around, put it on my shelf, and yeah, it's going to be so wild.
Well, and it's interesting that you kind of bring that up, because that's one of the other things about the whole crowdfunding campaign that I'm not sure really clicked with people, because there have been so many, not just with our brand, with all action figure brands, so many frustrating things going on with pre-orders through different things, different problems, and it's been irritating some people, understandably so. I get irritated when it's happening to stuff that I'm trying to buy, and this thing's in your cart. I go to order and then sold out. Happens all the time to everyone. With the campaign, because it's like a direct to consumer to fund, there is like, it's basically a pre-order that's not going to leave your cart. Like you want it, you got it, it's going to be in there.
Yeah, so it won't sell out. Yeah, that's the thing with like I think pre-orders should just do that in general. Like try kind of get a grasp of how many people want the figure, or stuff like that, because that's what the new gen does as well. So like you said, it won't sell out while it's in your cart and stuff like that.
There's like, I mean, there's different like business reasons. I'm on the creative end, but I know that there's like the pre-order quota versus like what's actually going to stores and all of that. So there is like a method business wise behind the madness for everyone. But from a consumer standpoint, I don't disagree. It's really frustrating to be to be a collector and to have it. It's part of like what triggers the rush, and I think that builds up the value. It's part of the nature of collecting. In an ideal world, for people who just want to collect for their love of the hobby, the model like for this campaign is so good. It's so good. You want it, pre-order, no problem.
Bob's your uncle.
Problem, you got it.
Bob's your uncle. Oh, you're technically Bob, so you're my uncle now. Hey, what's up?
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob from Mattel. No, I want to know, so when did you start working at Mattel as well and working onto these figures?
Started out in 2011, but I didn't start on the WWE brand until 2016, which is crazy to me because it's 2021 and we're like at our 10th anniversary. So I've been on the brand for like half the brand's life, and I didn't realize that until like people started asking me the math of like, how long have you been doing this? And And then you start being like, oh, that's a long time ago. It doesn't feel like that long to you.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, especially in like the wrestling figure like production side of thing,
I,
it would go so
I,
quick.
I can give you actually, and I mean people can time this out. The first stuff that I started working on was the Defining Moments WrestleMania 3 Macho Man. That was one of the first projects I worked on. The Ringside exclusive Shane McMahon. That was one of my first ones, and then it kind of like rolled from there. But those were like larger examples of some of my earlier onboarding process, and everything after that point has been me.
Wow, cool. Yeah, well, so you were probably around with like when there were talks of the whole concept of Ultimate Editions, right?
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
So were there any doubts with the Ultimate Edition line? Is it gonna sell? Is this gonna happen? Is this gonna work? Will people even be invested in it? Was there any talks about that?
Sure. I mean, that's natural. That's totally natural whenever you're trying something completely untested into the market. It was, there's going to be a risk with everything new. But I mean, that was a Steve passion project. He really felt, I mean, it was one of the first really big things that he came in and was like, this should happen, and it can be our deluxe, and it can be our deluxe figure, because before it was like entrance greets, which was an elite with a sound stage that most people didn't want. That was expensive,
and back in the day it was basics with a sound thing,
with soft goods.
I'm aging myself even though I'm like the youngest man alive.
You look like it. Like it.
Thank you. Yeah. I found the fountain of youth. I'm actually 86, but it's.
I know. You know what? Until my kids started making me gray, I had like total baby face. Like I was like one of those guys who was like in his 30s and looked like I could have been in my 20s. And then I had kids and started getting gray, and it's.
Hey, you still look. I thought you were 23 or something like that. Honestly.
Oh. Thank you very much. I'm actually 24, but I appreciate
it. You can't win them all,
you can't win them all. So there was like some some discussions there had to be like internally selling in, both to our management, then also to the retailers. Because if you don't sell it, if you don't figure out a plan for the retailers, and then are they going to buy in? And it needed a little bit of time to get its legs under it, but now I feel like it's like the hottest thing that we have. Like elites are definitely like bread and butter, basics are our foundation, but Ultimate Edition is absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think it's only going to keep growing as well. The amount of talent that there is and the potential that there is to make great Ultimates, I think it's only going to go higher and higher, which is really exciting for me.
Yeah, me too. And we also figured out the formula for Ultimates. The guys who you see, the guys who you like need to have, it's rolling, man. It's rolling along really well. I think it's kind of become to the point where this is our staple. Like this is replaced. Elites are great. Like I said, core to the line, best-selling #1, and the place where it's like we can get in a lot of great guys who we wouldn't necessarily be able to get in otherwise, and they're phenomenal figures. But I feel like Ultimates have replaced Elites as being our like go-to for collector. Like we were like, as soon as we were going into this past year's Comic-Con, and with Sergeant Slaughter, we were like, it was just a no-brainer. It's like, okay, we have to do our first Ultimate Comic-Con thing and set the stage. There was like no choice.
Yeah, the Sergeant Slaughter was great as well, and especially because just for like bang for your buck, I think Ultimates are great because you can get some Ultimates for like the same price as Elite sometimes. Like you see
that Shinsuke I've seen for lower prices, which is again a great, like everyone jokes Shinsuke in red, but that's a great Shinsuke.
It is, yeah. I'm like pretty much like on the fence about it. I'm like, oh, do I get it? No, I want to kind of be a completist with this now. Like a completionist, not completist, a completionist with this Ultimate Edition line now. So you guys have got me addicted. I blame you, Bob. My uncle.
It's Uncle Bob, Uncle Bob with just a taste. Yeah, I mean it's and I think like if you're going to be a completionist, it's a good line to be a completionist for, because it's, as opposed to Elites, which is
It's pretty early, you know.
It is. It's still
Yeah.
early on to get on. If you miss the first couple, you can back into it. And there's also not nearly as many releases every single season.
Yeah.
So for your wallet, it's you can get the best figures and the best gear and customize them with the heads that you want to and the hands that you want to, and not break your wallet.
Yeah.
Really,
because there's only like 22 now. I think with 11 series, there's 22 Ultimates.
Yeah, it looks like something like that.
Yeah.
I could count, but I don't want to waste time with them just counting my action figures. Let's count how many action figures I'm surrounded by. How long is this podcast supposed to be?
3 days, so you got it. Yeah, I want to talk about as well work ethic, because when you're working for some company like this, a company like this, silly me, Mattel, the biggest, hands down, biggest toy company, I think. When you're working for something like this, it would get so busy. So I want to talk about like work ethic as well. I was in an interview recently with Tom from Ringside, Tom Sanford, the fifth. Great lad, love him to bits. And I think he said
Tom's great.
One year at like a Ringside Fest or a Comic-Con, they had every like Mattel. This was like in the early goings of the series and the lines and the elites and stuff like that. He said they had every single figure on display. And thinking about it now, you cannot do that.
No.
And that just shows that, yeah, it is. Could you imagine that?
I mean, we might be able to do an entire wall of every single Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Seth Rollins we've ever done. Just like a good time Comic-Con thing about like, yep, just these 4 guys, every single one of them. That's our collection. We've done a lot of that.
That should just be the only like talent you focus on. So disregard every new talent.
No one from Mattel here. Oh my God.
If you're listening from Mattel, tune out right now. This is no
right.
But yeah, cool.
But work ethic.
Yeah, work ethic. Like how you guys just keep being busy. How I don't get it, because I'm a lazy piece of poo-poo, so I wouldn't be able to do half the things.
It's I mean, I'm very, very lucky to work where I am at the job that I do. And I think that's like there's like, just like any place else, there's, sometimes you have to fill out spreadsheets and do stuff like that, and you got the office work, but then you get to do the fun stuff, like when half of your job is watching wrestling content to figure out what action figures you want to make. Then I mean, it's not that bad. Like, and when you get into that aspect of it, when your research is watching SummerSlam, as going to be coming up, and just trying to like pick out like those real highlight moments, and then you get together with Bill and Steve and the rest of the guys who are teams who are fans. I mean, we've got like a lot of fans on our team. It's not just the 3 of us.
Which you wouldn't see back in the day. Back in the day, it's just like another like job, like in the 80s or 90s or something like that.
How can we push some toys? And this is like one brand that's been around since I was a kid. LJNs were among my first action figures.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. So and now I'm working on that brand. I mean, it's and Mattel is it's always treated me and my family so well. It's a really great family friendly place to work. The people who I work with are like, there's office stuff that goes on back and then, but truly like a joy to work with, kicking around creative ideas, sometimes getting into like, kind of like things will be, because you're so passionate about it. You're like, oh, no, it should be this. Oh, it should be this. But that's also kind of like where it gets fun, because like at a normal job, and I've worked normal jobs. It's like, you talk about, like, did you get this report done? Did you get that report done? Mattel's got that too. But then but then you're going over and you're like, hey, did you see SmackDown over the weekend? Or you're texting each other and being like, oh, did you see who just got bumped up to the main roster or something like that? And that's part of your job. It's not just you chit-chatting with your friends. Like it's meaningful to it. That it's cool. So that's like a motivator for me, because I love the brands that I work on. I love action figures. I love what the brands are about and what they represent. I've loved them since I was a child, and now I'm seeing how they inspire my kids. Like our nighttime ritual over the summer has become me and my wife and my kids just all piling into my bed, and whatever day it is, it's like last night, it's like, okay, let's put on SmackDown, watch a little bit of it until the kids fall asleep, pick it up the next day. So to see that, it makes it very easy to have good work ethic. I've always taken like a lot of pride in what I do. I like to think that I'm really good at what I do. And I like it that people who I work with know that I'm reliable and can be counted on. It fills me with like a lot of like self pride.
Yeah.
And it just kind of feeds into itself with other people who you're also feeling proud of because of the job that they did. So that positive momentum definitely goes like a long way. If I was working at a job where I wasn't like if I was like a copywriter for a financial institution, would I be as passionate? It probably would just I would still work hard. I would still do well. But it would probably just be like, it'd be like, oh, this is the gig that I do to help, pay the bills and support my house. And I got my other hobbies on the side. I mean, when your work and your hobby kind of like intersect, there's like some good and some bad that can go onto that, because it's a little bit of seeing how the sausage gets made.
Yeah.
But then there's some awesome stuff also. Like there's something so cool when you're having a product review before, and you're like the first, and you're not just seeing the process, but then you're seeing kind of like that pre-production thing before it gets out to see if there's any fine-tuned details. And you're like, oh my God, I'm holding the Jeff Hardy Ultimate and no one else has it. Like there's something that just like is so rewarding about that. It's like the review meetings can feel like Christmas sometimes. You just like look at it and be like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool, man. I'm lucky. I've been working there for a while. I hope to work there for a long while. I hope to work on these brands for a long while. I mean, if I were to, the one thing they always say is, if I were to have a time machine and I were to go back into time and go back to like 8-9-year-old me and tell them what I'm doing now, I would be like, okay, I'm cool growing up. Like when you're a kid, you got like, what am I going to do if I grow up? And then it's like, oh, you're going to grow up and you're going to work with the action figures, but not just action figures, WWF, because I would have no idea what WWE was when I was 9 years old. and Masters of the Universe, He-Man, I would have like that would be a pretty cool thing to know as a kid. And being like, oh, so you mean I can just completely like dick around from here on out, and this will be my future? I'll be like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, dude, that is an interesting thing as well. But I feel like if I did time travel back to myself when I was a kid, I think I just scared the living hell out of younger me. But I'd be like, hey, it's me from the future, I guess. No, you know what I do? I do like a whole like Biff from Back to the Future too. Distant relative, you know what I mean? When he gives him like the sports-o-matic, whatever. Yeah. No, I'm a distant relative.
You're doing it though. You're like doing podcasts. Podcast is like total passion, and you're doing a podcasting about a thing that you're passionate about. You're a content creator. That's dope, man. I respect that, and I envy you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Yeah, well, just seeing other people do it for so long made me want to do it. And now that I've tried it out and I've gotten really comfortable with it, like you said, with the Ultimate Editions, you get the formula, right? I kind of have the
Hmm.
formula in my head now, so it's no longer just like a second guess thing. It's nice. I love it as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And I think that's kind of like you see that with like whether you're podcasting or doing YouTube content or figure photography. Um, there's so much awesome content creation from this community. There's going to be even better content creation from this community. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me about like, oh my God, I can't wait to do this with the arena and do that with the arena and do this kind of stop motion and have these guys go out. Like I told if for anyone who follows Battle Stories,
He's great.
He's great, and he anytime you see like stop motion animation on our commercials, which will like sometimes they'll air during like a pay-per-view or sometimes they'll air on Raw like that, that's cool. Him, most talented guy who does what he does. And I was like, I sent him the picture from WrestleMania of the two doinks. And I was like, I want to see you do the stop motion animation of the two doinks. I gotta see you do that because he gets like all the little stuff down so perfectly. So Battle Stories, if you're out there listening, I know that I told you in person, but I reiterate because I really do want to see you do that because so many people order multiples of these things that you can do cool stuff like that. You can do like the multiple doinks.
Oh my God. Yeah. Battle Stories is insanely talented. I have had a hand in stop motion a little bit. I've tested out the waters.
Nice.
When I see Battle Stories, I go, this is the guy. I can't be the guy.
He's the cream of the crop.
Yeah, there you go. I love that Legends Macho has the little creamer.
The cream of the crop. I know that's kind of like where we are with Macho, with our line where we can do crazy stuff like, hey, let's do cream of the crop Macho. Like people have kind of been talking about that. It's almost gag, but it's amazing. It's amazing that's like now you have a sculpted hand with a little coffee creamer where it's like he can just like materialize them from out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all I have for my questions, but I sent over to the Nick Stormians. I don't know, that's just a Stormanites, who freaking knows anymore. But I asked them to
Stormbreakers.
I like that. It's kind of like a little Thor kind of.
Yes.
I like it. Hello. Well, I sent it out to the Stormbreakers. Shout out to Uncle Bob for that. I'm gonna stop that. I'm not gonna let that catch on.
No. I like it. We got a thing going.
Yeah.
To the Aussie crew, I got to be Uncle Bob.
Yeah, exactly. So, Uncle Bob, I sent out some questions for you guys to ask as well on social media. And are you able to? You're all right to answer some fan questions?
Fire away. If there's anything that I can't answer, I won't. But I'll definitely answer everything I can to the best of my abilities.
Yeah. I'll just ask about like every figure upcoming for the next 5 years. No.
Okay. Hey, when are you guys doing Jeff Jarrett?
You just asked your own question you can't answer.
Yeah,
I'm blaming you. No.
When are you coming out with Phil in this one? When we announce it. That's the boilerplate answer. When we announce it, you know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we don't have any questions like that in here that I.
Oh no, fire away! These are juicy. I submitted my own question, which was
I saw.
Which picture of me do you like best? Because we got 3 of them before.
Yeah. We'll get all into that. That's like a whole story time right there. But first question we have is from my good friend Alex West Collects, and he says he's a fellow Hulkamaniac like myself.
Oh yeah, I know Alex West Collects. He's he was promoting like crazy during this. Really appreciate you.
Shout out to him. Yeah, I think he's one of the reasons why I got it as well. Just the constant promotions. But he asked, what is your favorite Ultimate Edition figure? Which is number 1, which I guess we already answered. But number 2 would be, which is better, Ultimate Edition Hollywood or just regular Hulk Ultimate Edition?
Oh, Ultimate Edition Hollywood. I love the Ultimate Edition Hulk. That one was a fan takeover one. I think that I personally voted for it. I love it. I think it's great. Everyone should get it. I voted for one of the WCW ones because I want our WWE like core Hulk Hogan to definitely kind of feel like towards his like core Hulkamania kind of thing, as opposed to when he came in and was kind of like, "Hey, brother Brett, I'm gonna come in and give the big old leg to Yoko. How's that sound?"
Yeah.
But I do have him right here. I'm glad with that one. We got the head with the black eye, because like, how are you not going to do that to me? That's the head that you got to pack it out in. That's that moment.
That's cool. Yeah.
But Hollywood, hands down. Like if you were put him in front of me, I'd say like, give me Hollywood all day long. Just like you were saying, that one was so long awaited. We had one in the pipeline before the thing happened in 2015, and able to bring him back in the Ultimates line. And that was the way that we introduced Hulkster. And it's epic. It's an epic figure.
It is, yeah. And like, you can't not display him, like, you know, playing the freaking air guitar with the belt. That's what you have right now?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love the bows and everything.
I actually took a picture of it was him in my ring, him playing the belt, and then the New Legends Nash with the bandana, with the New Legends Hall with the bandana, and they both come with the 2 suites, so they could do that to the sides. That's with Hogan perfect. In the middle.
I've been on such a WCW binge as well, so that's like perfect.
Yeah, so no, it's great. Yeah.
A question I want to ask, I guess, kind of brings up one, but would we ever get to see like a feather sort of cloth boa in the Ultimate Edition line for Hulk?
You know, I think that Bill's discussed it. I don't think that he's quite gotten to the point where he's figured out how to crack the code on it in a way that it would work. Not saying that it would never be done, just it hasn't come away where it's been like a better execution. They had like those Storm Collectibles. Hogan's had those feather boas, and they just kind of wind up being like this like fluffy mess that it's a good idea, but the execution, it just kind of like covers everything up. So I mean, if we figure out how to do it in the right way, I would love to see it. And I think that's like, we just have to figure it out. It would be really cool to have a feather boa. Although that Hollywood did not need that feather boa.
No, not at all. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Anyway,
Bill loves that boa, man.
Yeah,
he absolutely loves it. He was like, it's an extra piece. It's awesome. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it is really cool. You wouldn't expect that to come with, like, because it comes with already so much, you know.
Yeah.
But thanks, Alex, for submitting that question. Next one we have from It Figures 89, also my mate Tom. He says, "What
shout out Tom?
Shout out Tomothy, you know. What kind
Tomothy from Uncle Bob."
There you go. You got a special shout out from Uncle Bob himself, Uncle Bobarino. But It Figures says, "What kinds of things can we look forward to for Mattel Creations now that the New Gen Arena got backed?"
As far as crowdfunding, like I said, you know, that it's completely funded. Every tier is unlocked, and we've still got sales that are rolling in, and we still have got like over a week to go. So the future is very bright for possibilities. I would say that the 3 things that I personally saw the most from people, what they wanted was something Attitude Era, something Nitro, and something in like that SmackDown Fist kind of era. Those were like the 3 most requested things that I saw. You know, so that's what I personally think. Like, if the people are saying that, then I think that's our responsibility to the people to see if we can execute it. Whether or not we can within a price point that people are comfortable needs to be seen. But that would be my first thought of exploration. As far as what is definitely coming next, #we want retros. Heard you loud and clear, and that's going to be coming in the near future. I think I believe. Sorry, my earpiece keeps going out. I believe spring 22. I could be wrong on that. but sometime soon is when when those first retro 4-pack bundles are rolling out. That's going to be from Mattel Creations, not a crowdfund, direct to consumer. So people are going to be able to go on there and order it as they want, as opposed to going through like Target, Walmart, or Amazon. Just go through Mattel Creations and it'll get there. And then we'll see kind of like how retros do. If it's supported, of course, we'll keep cranking them out, and then we've got a couple of other ideas up our sleeve that we're not quite ready to share, but I think that I'd like to think that Steve and I gained the faith of the community after this past week. So trust that we've got some ideas that people are going to be excited for.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for sending that one in, Tom. And next we have a question from collectible_R, and he goes, "How did you celebrate after hitting 8K?" Surely a bottle of wine, a little glass of wine, sip, sip, sip.
I was so fried from the entire week, the entire day. I was just drained. So my wife was like we live in Santa Monica, so a few blocks from the beach, and she's like, and we've got some good friends who live nearby. We're like, oh, we're gonna go down the beach. Can you join us? I was like, I'm so fried. She's like, you should come. It'll be good for you. Ocean is extremely healing. You guys are an island, so the beach is right there. A lot more dangerous, I think, than ours, but Aussies surf too. So I was out surfing, and I was kind of like keeping track of it, out surfing with my kids. They're like 5 and 7, so like putting them on the surfboard and just kind of like having them like ride in,
cool.
having some good wholesome quality family time.
That's good,
and then we come up and I refresh my phone, and I was like, oh my god, we just hit 8,000. I was like texting with my buds, with Steve and some of the other guys, and at that point I was just like Steve and I kind of like caught up for a moment. We were like chatting with Bill. We were chatting with like some of the other guys from the pod, and just like kind of like enjoying the moment, gradually having a quiet moment, really, for a change. I would have loved to have been like, woo, party.
It would have been so loud during the whole week anyway.
Oh my god, I didn't have it in me anymore to kind of be like, I had a hard time getting to bed. I wanted to get to bed. You know what it feels like? It's like anyone who's been to like Comic-Con or anything like that, or like WrestleMania, who knows that feeling of, this is amazing, but I've been doing this for so long that that I'm both overwhelmed with joy and exhausted. So if in your mind I'm popping corks and screaming from the balconies, think about me doing that, because I wasn't doing that myself. But celebrate with that thought in your mind.
Or already in there right now.
That's right.
Thank you for the really good question. Next one we have from an uncle of mine, at Yes Really Rob, says, what's your favorite picture of me? Now I will say,
you want to tell it?
Yeah, sure. So I initially put up 3 times to submit questions for Rob here, and the first photo I couldn't use. And then the second photo I couldn't use as well. So then Rob had to find
and they're 2 great photos.
Beautiful photos. Oh my god, the best. But then Rob had to say, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" He didn't say that, but yeah, send me the link to the post.
Yeah, it was basically like, because I'm a collector. It was like me with collections from other companies, and I'm just like, well, since I'm going to be here, like repping the company, it's like having me being like, who do you want Mattel representative who happens to have this Hasbro fist on?
Yeah,
which is fair game. It's on my IG, but it was so funny. It was very, very funny. I was like, oh, awesome picture. I love that picture.
I'm glad we both got a laugh out of it. I was like, oh no, he's gonna hate me.
So funny, so funny. No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love things like that where it's kind of like, I can't use that with me. I'm like, what about this? It's like, oh my god, no.
But to answer this fine young gentleman's question, what's my favorite photo of him? Well, I think the photo I use for the questions is really snazzy. You know, you got the whole all the Mattel figures in the background, but I think anything with your dogs, because I was going through trying to find a photo of you, and oh my god, I love dogs so much, and yours are the cutest I've ever seen. So
they're great dogs. They kind of look like I had these like back-to-back pictures when we got them. So you got like a golden doodle and then a rescue, and they if you've ever seen Secret Life of Pets,
oh yeah,
like next to each other, they kind of look like that together.
True. Yeah.
They're good dogs. We've got a full house, man. We've got 2 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and it's very harmonious. We did not have a lonely house during the pandemic. It was very full of life and fuzzy things to pet to keep that serotonin going.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's down.
And you just have the dogs there. But I was gonna say, if you're ever out away from your home and you need a dog sitter or collection sitter, aka I'm gonna steal your figures, just let me know. You didn't hear that last part. Yeah, sure.
I can't pay for the flight from Australia, but I mean, we are planning on taking a vacation soon. So
I'm much needed, I'm guessing.
I think they just got back from one too, which is a crazy thing.
You know, you can never have enough, you know.
No, not enough. That's right.
Yeah, well, thank you, Roberto, for sending in that question. That was a great question.
From Uncle Rob to Uncle Rob.
I'm good. So next question we have from Matt Goldberg, MBG1211. You owe me $20, and he says, "What good/bad have you learned from the new gen project? Do different on next ? Stuff like that."
Oh, yeah. So, the good is this community's here for it, right? We didn't we've seen other companies do it, and they've had kind of like just by the nature of those brands, they've got like a broader outreach. This is something that's brand new for this community. The idea of crowdfunding was new for a lot of people. The idea of online shopping for figures as opposed to going to the store and fig hunting was new for a lot of people before COVID. So this is so it was like, it was a lot of question marks about like, is the community ready for this? And like shoved it down every doubter and hater's throat. Like, I love it. Just kind of like everyone's here for it. This community is down to support stuff that they would that they want for the future on high end collector stuff. I know that there was like questions about price point, because people were like, oh, that's a lot for $250. Some people, they explored and they discovered that app, and that made them more comfortable. The thing that I'm trying to put together was it the price itself, or is it price perception? Because I think that price perception was definitely a value when it was like, especially before we figured out that Macho, that early bird thing, that was a total like that was a total reflexive pivot in the moment. And when we realized it's like, people need another figure if they're going to be in this, and maybe that becomes something that we do. Like, that's how you get your 2 figs up front. Well, that's something that we need to figure out. But we learned that people don't need rings. We're not going to be getting like another ring for a while.
They added another ring instead of the Macho Man.
That's right. Guess what, guys? You can do war games,
Instead,
but no,
of
no cage.
instead of every ultimate that you get in the set, just one more ring, one like 4 rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People want. It's an amazing ring, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that it got funded because I really think it's going to be the last ring that people will ever need. I can't wait to see the final product with the boards and the turnbuckles and just everything about it. The scale that I saw when they were for the model when they were taking pictures, I was like, this thing's fantastic.
Yeah.
But we don't need another one. So we know that we know that no ring. We talked about like Diesel early on, so it's like, you know, probably having like a lead that's like a tier higher, to at the very least, in order to in order to kick off the thing, like one that people would be like, kind of like how every brand has got, like Marvel's got Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, Spider-Man.
Right.
We've got Hulk, we've got Randy, we've got Warrior, we've got Austin, we've got Rock, we've got Sean, we've got guys like that. Like those are kind of like our foundation guys, and to me, that should be kind of like where we're keeping it. We're keeping it starting out. Guys like Doink, I think that this is such a great way to get it in. People were psyched for it. So that was good. We learned that we can keep that we can do weird secondary and tertiary guys who people like were like, this is amazing, through this sort of execution. I think that we also learned, like, even though that new gen entrance stage is huge, like 17 inches as a model, if I remember what Steve had measured, you know, I mean, that's subject to change, but it'll be to scale. So approximately that. People were excited for it. People said, I'll buy the, you know, I'm interested in the stage and the figures. So I think that we really got a good sense of what people wanted, what people needed in order to really be invested, what they want to see next time, and what they don't need, which is another ring, because they already have one. I do. You know, the other thing is, with the Macho Man announcers bag, it wasn't just Macho Man. The fact that it had like the announcers table with the headgear, I felt like people also felt very satisfied with that. So I would like to see us further build out the arena. Whether or not we're able to, or how that gets executed, again, questions or questions they're going to need to explore for the future. But to me, that's a place where we should explore, is like, how do you continue to build out the arena? There's so many pieces that people don't have, that I feel like that we could give them. Now that they have the ring and all this other stuff, start to build it. If we can build it out, continue to build out more and more, I think that that'll keep people continue to be invested for like, what's the next one. So by the time that we kind of like reach this like dream, it really does feel like you have everything that you need for a literal arena. Whether or not people will like have room there for like a SoFi Stadium, SoFi Stadium WrestleMania in their house. If a ring was a problem, is an entire arena going to be it? Is
That's the Thunderdome, brother.
That's right. That's right. You know, we'll see. But a lot of learnings. I would say a lot more good than bad, especially since like the stuff that was bad is good, because they're learning opportunities from something that funded. It allows us to make those adjustments.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Matt, for setting that in again. And now we have the last question, guys. If you want to submit a question for a future guest, make sure to pop over to my Instagram at NickStormReview to do so, and just look out for whenever I'm doing it. But this next question, the last final question, comes from New Era Custom Figs, and they say, what part of the Mattel figure process is the most unique and has the most thought put into it?
How to strategize lineups with Bill McKenna. No.
It's up there.
What's the most unique? I mean, this one is definitely, yeah. So sorry, what was it? It was which is most unique and
Yeah. Has the most
and what
thought put into it.
has the most thought put into it? I mean, you know what? I mean, unique. I think that like our non wrestling executions are probably ones that are the most unique, like the Masters of the WWE universe.
Yeah,
like things like that. On like, hey, what are ways that we can that we can have fun with this brand in a way that's not just doing elites and basics and ultimates, but like what's unique
it's just fun. It's like
this.
fun to look at. It's fun to see.
I love. And I'm sad that that line is coming to an end. It was like, and so is everyone who worked on it. It was like probably my favorite, like Masters WWE Universe, probably my favorite thing that I've worked on in my toy career because it was so unique. The thing that requires the most thought process, I mean, you know, I'd make a joke about Bill, but the lineup process requires so much thought and planning, and it truly is kind of like this like group think effort of like not just who's going to be in what slot, but then you have to compare it to every single thing that you're doing, because it's like you don't want to have, okay, this is where we're going to do a new Roman in elites, but then you've got Roman in a 2-pack and Roman in a basic that are coming out the same way, and all of a sudden it's like saturated with Romans. So you need to kind of like figure, so that is like it's a little bit of guesswork in some way, because we're working so far in advance, like we're working like a year out, right?
Yeah.
So then that creates situations like the upcoming wave of elites where you have, you know, finally get the bald Braun, but oops. And you've got and Otis was kind of like positioned to be someone who could kind of be very interesting. The fans were behind him, and he like had just won Money in the Bank. Bill was like, you know, really huge about Otis, and it felt like the momentum was getting behind him. And then they decided to completely shift course, but stuff like that can happen. Or NXT guys, sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. We have waves coming up with Jake Atlas, for example, and he just got released. It was looking like there might be some momentum behind him because he was appearing on like a couple more shows. People want these like first time in the line, so they get hot. But then right after him, we got Swerve, and Swerve is fire right now. So you know, between the planning of trying to juggle everything up, and then just kind of like trusting your instincts about this is going to be the right time a year from now, because we've watched this program for our entire lives, and we kind of like, and you can kind of like see the build of certain stuff coming. And I would say that for the most part, it's been pretty spot on. Like there have been like the Braun and the Otis are exceptions through to like unfortunate circumstances. But when stuff is coming out and hitting at the right time, I mean, our elite waves, I mean, when was the last time that they were like really hanging on pegs? When was the last time there was like a wave of elites where people were like, nah? Like maybe there was like some where it's like, you know, a figure in here, I don't need it. I don't need another Seth. I don't need another Roman. But we've got this formula where there's like a little bit of something for everyone, and therefore it gets everyone excited.
Like there wasn't a lot that well, there was, but in the newest Elite, I think it's Elite 87. There was some figures in there that were hit or miss for me, but the one that really stood out was the Oscar. Like you said, like it's like
that Oscar's gorgeous.
Yeah, man, I still need to get that. I really want that, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. But if people at Mattel are listening, send it to me for free.
I'm listening. But I can't send it to you for free.
Oh, okay, well,
that one's also like, I think that's the same wave as our first Candace.
Yeah.
That one's got the first Candace. It's got the first Santos Escobar with the new with the new cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
I think it's got Apollo with the new US
Yeah.
title. Like it like that one. I mean, some people are like, oh, there's not much, but there's like a lot of new news in that wave.
Yeah. The Apollo is great as well. The Chase Apollo is
It is,
fantastic. Yeah.
but that's another crazy thing. Like as soon as we're like Apollo, we haven't done Apollo in a while, and he's the U.S. champion, and they're doing this build, and we come out, and now he looks completely different. And I want to do that figure of Apollo now with the giant Q-tip spear thing that he's got going. It's a great look. It's a great look.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you all for sending in your fan questions. Again, go to @NickStormReview on Instagram. Follow me to submit your future questions in the future with a future guest. Future. And that,
and into the future where I am a robot, a Robert robot of
Robert
the future.
robot. Yeah. hey, slowly but surely,
That's right. We're all just going to grow up to have cybernetic and attachments and enhancements sooner or later. It's just a matter of time.
Well, next time we do this will be on the Cyberlink. So.
Oh, great idea.
But yeah, I want to thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate taking your time out to come do this. You've done a lot of these the past week, past couple of weeks. So I really do appreciate you taking the time out. And if there's anything you need to shout out, anything you want to shout out, promote, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on here again. Thank you to the community for the amazing heavy lift and amazing performance of and historic. I don't mind saying historic night of August 13th, 2021. Thank you all. You can follow me at Yes Really Rob on Instagram, Robert in 3D on Twitter. I might not be posting there a whole lot. You'll see like a few things here and there, but I feel like my job is done for a little bit. I have to take a little bit of a social media break. My wife over the past 2 weeks has been like, can you get off the phone? The kids haven't seen you all day.
Yeah.
So, but follow me on there. Keep and when I have news, you guys will have news. And go to MattelCreations.com. The ring is unlocked. Doink is unlocked. Everything is unlocked. The ring skirts, everything. It's an amazing package. Last ring you'll ever need. An amazing, beautiful piece of art again of an entrance stage. Go to Action Figure Attack, Steve Ozer, to check out his video on that. And an Ultimate Edition Diesel and OMG Ultimate Edition Doink. Cannot miss. Even though the Macho exclusive sale is already over, it is a phenomenal package packed with value. Even if this one gets twice as many as the Macho Man by the time this is all said and done, that's still a Mattel Creations exclusive, and that is still low production number, so it's going to be very, very special for people to have. Own it now, own a piece of history, own a piece of glory. I mean, it was a hell of a ride, and I'm glad that you guys were all part of it. I'm glad that everyone enjoyed it as much, if not more than me, because I was ready to collapse.
Yeah. Cool, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much again for coming on. And you can find me on social media at NickStormReview. If you haven't done so already, make sure to follow, do all that fun stuff, interact with all my posts, and give me all the likes and all that fun stuff. Yes, all the followers. World domination slowly upon us. Just kidding. Yeah, thank you again. Thank you all for listening as well, especially if you're on Spotify right now, because this podcast is now on Spotify and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you all for listening and coming on, and have a good freaking day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Stormbreakers.
There it is.